Good morning. Today we will talk about Module 4, Part 1. The topic is all about police patrol definition and evolution. Now, what is police patrol? Police patrol is the largest unit of the police of any police organization which is responsible in the prevention of crime and control of delinquency. Now, early days or during the early times, early tribes selected able-bodied young men to protect their villages from the invasion from other tribes and of wild animals which prey on their crops and livestock. The said practice was considered as the forerunner of the contemporary foot patrol function of the police for crime prevention. Now, where did the term patrol comes from? Patrol term derived from the French word patrouiller, which means to travel on foot. So it started with the concept of self-policing and kin policing, intended to protect oneself or one family from animals and other groups. So basically, the term patrol derives from the term travel on foot, meaning the first practices of police patrolling is through the means of walking the beat. No? Now, the intention and the concept of police patrolling is for self-preservation and the community preservation. You have to remember that during those times, there were too many groups that battle with each other in order for them to survive. Now, ancient patrol practices. In the Old and the New Testaments, there is what we call the watchman. Now, they use the term watchman, which they refer as having the duty to protect the city and arrest offenders. In Egypt, it is believed to be the first people to use police dogs on patrol, which they called as midjays. Now, midjays are civilians headed by a military officer. In Rome, Augustus Caesar formed the Vigiles, a group of over 2,000 men whose duty was to keep the peace and fight fire. Meaning, in Rome, they acted as a police at the same time they acted as the firefighters. Now, in early England, they have the so-called the frank pledge system or the mutual pledge system. In the said system, it required all males aged 12 and above to join a group of 9 to form a tething. Members of the tething are called a tething man. Now, in a tething man, there is what we call a constable, which serves as a leader of the tethings. The primary task of the tethings was to protect their village from thieves and animals. Tethings were later organized into shires. Now, a shire, if we are going to compare it to our system, it is similar to a barangay. A shire was headed by a leader called Shire Reeve. Now, 1066, there is what we call the existence of the frank pledge. Frank pledge is a system of policing that replaces the board. A frank pledge includes all males ages 12 or older from 10 households into groups referred to as tethings. Now, these 10 things group together into a collective or police and security purposes. This is called a hundred. A hundred was supervised by a leader known as a hundred man. A parish constable is a policing agent who operated in smaller towns. Initially elected by the parishioners, the parish constable was generally unarmed, unpaid, and part-time. By the way, if we talk about parish, it is not actually connected to church. A parish is a community. It is equivalent to a community. Or probably in our place, it is considered as big as a purok. The sheriffs, they're considered as a forerunner to the modern sheriff, appointed by the local landowner to supervise the territory and ensure orderly conduct. In our place, a sheriff is actually similar to a punong barangay or the barangay captain. The watchmen were used to protect property in England's larger cities and towns. They wore leather helmets and received little respect from the community. So, as what is shown in the picture is an example of a watchman which existed in the 1600s in England. 1700s, there exists the so-called the thief thicker, or in the local scenario, probably we could connect them to bounty hunters. These are privately hired men hired by victims to capture criminal offenders. Once the offender was captured, the thief taker was paid a bounty. Often, these individuals were very corrupt. Jonathan Wild is an infamous thief taker and a police officer in London. He led a gang of thieves who stole property. He was hung in 1725. In 1800s is the birth of the Metropolitan Police Force of London. The Metropolitan Police of London was a creation of the Metropolitan Police Act of 1829. So it is an act introduced by Sir Robert Peel which established London's Metropolitan Police Force. This is considered as the beginning of modern public policing. Sir Robert Peel, the man behind the Parliament Act of 1829, is a British statesman and member of the Conservative Party, served twice as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and twice as Home Secretary. He is regarded as the father of modern policing. His contribution in the police system or in the crafting of the Metropolitan Police Force of London, which serves as the framework of the police organization all throughout the world, is something that cannot be denied. The Pillion or the Metropolitan Police Force of London embodied the Pillion's nine principles of policing.